Yeah, man, you tuned into Dash of Fire podcast, reggae, and vegan lifestyle scene.
Yo, greetings, Judah. How's it going, brother?
Yes, JudaH, blessed love each and every time. Rastafari,
Yeah,
see?
man. Yeah, man. Another guest stopping by the cast. I'm excited to have him come through. If you guys don't know this is my brethren Judah. He goes by Official Lion of Judah, and I played his track. I believe last week on the show. It's called War Calling. With I was want to make sure I pronounce the name correctly. Not.
You got
Go
it.
ahead.
No one. No one partly. No one
Okay,
partly. You
okay,
got it.
okay. Yeah, man. Wicked tune, wicked vibes, and I'm just glad we can link up. You want to let people know a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what you're doing as an artist, and things like that before we really get into it.
Sure. So, originally born and bred from Trinidad and Tobago,
Okay.
out in the Caribbean, First island in the chain of islands, going up all the way to Jamaica and get to Florida. So, growing up in a country that has a colonial hangover in it, and reggae music and soca music and calypso music all comes from Trinidad and Tobago. We created all of that, and you know, a lot of the other islands took what we created and expanded upon it and globalized it, made it better, took it to the four corners of earth, as the prophet King Robbie did. So these men of great power in the past have been when I say power of the Most High Jah, have been a great influence from 3 years old in my life to now in my mid-30s. For instance, at 3 years old, I was on stage with the Whalers in a surf expo in Florida. I mean, on the shoulders of Bunny Whaler, And I didn't know who they were at that time, but now looking back as I progress in this life, you see that Rasta has been a huge influence in my life to keep me in alignment with them, Haile Selassie,
That's right.
to see who he truly is and who he's eternal, just as the Christ within all of us is eternal. And that has just been the mission thus far. Where I come from, what I do, and who I am is just sticking to the
Yeah,
truth,
man. Yeah, man.
speaking truth, living truth, and be truth.
Yes, I. Yes, I.
So, yeah,
Well,
man.
give thanks for taking the time. I know you're in Florida right now, and you mentioned you're from Trinidad. Before we even get into all of that, I always like to ask people, you mentioned that, again, you're from Trinidad and the Caribbean vibes and everything like that. So what is your earliest memory of reggae music? You mentioned that, 3 years old, being on the shoulder of Bunny Whaler and vibing like that. I mean, do you remember
Yeah.
a time with actual reggae music where you were like, oh, that's reggae, or
Yeah.
something to that nature?
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, beyond the childhood memories, the meditation you could recollect and really get back there.
Right.
I would say is the first album I was given as a birthday present, probably around 9 or 10,
Okay.
and that would have been for Marley Legend.
Nice.
And it was a Michael Jackson as well album that my family gave me. They gave me options to really see the two greatest of this world, and I fell in love with both of them. And from that moment, it was from Bob. I went straight on to Sizzler.
Right.
I went straight to what was happening at that moment when I was from 9 to 15 between Bob and Peter Tosh and Freddie McGregor, and you go back to the ancient, not ancient, the ancient, the foundation members, and you get to Gregory Isaacs, and then you go to Ken Booth and all the rest of them, Dennis Brown, everybody we all know about and love. Bob would be my first real reggae exposure as a youth, to understand the lyrics of what he was saying, to see why is the world not this way? What's wrong?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So I've never really asked this before, and I've interviewed a couple people from Trinidad. How do you feel with, soca and calypso and everything like you mentioned? Like, how ingrained is reggae music in Trinidad? I mean, I know when soca time, when it's that time of year, a whole heap of soca tracks kind of get released onto the scene, and you know it's soca time. Even if you're not into soca, you know it's soca time. You know it's carnival time coming. But on the flip
Yes.
side,
Sure.
how ingrained is reggae music? I mean, we got Marlon Asher coming out of there, my brethren Kyrie Kill, my brethren King Shasha here in San Diego, the brethren Jungle. There's a couple other artists that I know, Jabami, if I'm not mistaken, coming out of Trinidad. How
Yes.
ingrained is reggae music in Trinidad?
Reggae has become part of our culture because we have our own style of reggae music. As you said some very important names there. Carrie Kill is somebody that has helped me as a DJ in Trinidad with dub plates and whatnot when he first came out, and he gathered the reggae artists of Trinidad and Tobago and created the Reggae All Stars. If we go back to the original Calypso, my dad used to actually write for Lord Kitchener and Sparrow, Mighty Sparrow. Mighty Sparrow and I have become very close
Nice.
friends throughout the years. Yeah, man, he's a legend and a very intelligent man out in New York.
Yeah,
you
man.
know, his elderly age now, 80s now. So I've done concerts with him, performed with him not as a DJ, not as a singer yet. But in time, we'll see what transpires. But we're going back to the point of the calypso music turning into soca, and when it's carnival time, that's in our blood. That's the red, white, and black that we
Yeah, man.
use,
Yeah,
you know.
man.
There's a song. Yeah, there's a song and a music video I did this year, February, called Land of TNT. It's on YouTube, and I went home and I flew home and I spent a month home. And I recorded all my childhood memories of what and growing up, what beauty is in Trinidad, and what we need to remember what reggae music is, and what Rastafari is, and what the spiritual essence of reggae, because reggae is our spiritual music. And now we have a movement coming out of Trinidad called Trinidad.
Right.
And you have men like Jalano and Prince Swani and a whole heap of some amazing, talented ghetto youths, as they call themselves. Yet there's still an indoctrination of a poverty mentality and lack mentality when that is instilled by the government and not by the Most High. And that is where we need to transition, that reggae is not about war. Reggae is not about killing. And even though I have a song called War Calling, that is the spiritual essence of, look, there is no killing in that song. There is no murder, there is no gun, there is no nudity or perverse effect other than the spiritual essence of what Selassie stands
Yes,
for,
I.
what Yeshua Meshiach stands for, and what we as men must stand for when they are demasculating men in this world. So reggae music is a big influence in Trinidad. I tell you this right now. Sizzla Kalonji, Miguel Collins, president, turned quarter of Trinidad into Rasta.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Quarter of Trinidad turned into Rasta because
That
of
was going to
Sizzla
be my
Kalonji.
next
And I'm
question
really
or inquire about how the Rasta culture is in Trinidad. There's other areas. I used to actually have my bachelor degree in religion and history, and I remember doing a study on a small group of they call themselves just dreads. They weren't Rastas, they were just kind of dreads, living the like very Rasta, more Ital, more natural lifestyle. But they weren't really citing up Haile Selassie or Rastafari, and I see you many times already cite up Jah Rastafari. So how is that also embedded in Trinidad? You mentioned with Sizzla right there, and how is that going? Is it a big
Yes.
Naya Bingy movement? Is there Bobos? What's the vibe,
Yeah, man. So Trinidad is a hub of. We have Naya Bingi that has been down there. We have the 12 tribes of Israel that started out there, and we have, of course, Boba Ashanti up in the mountains. So we have all sects and mansions of Rastafari in Trinidad, and what my team has been attempting to do at this moment in time for the legalization, decriminalization of ganja, which we have done, all of us put together, and the unification of the mansions of all houses of mansions of Rastafari in Trinidad, because right now we're segregated and separated due to, well, we all know, and we see where we are in this world, we see what's happening.
Right.
And the only thing that's going to keep us together is the unity that we know a truth beyond the lies that have been spread. And it is huge in Trinidad. When I say huge, because it is accepted. You can walk down St. James, one of our busiest cities, at night and day, and you'll see about 1,000 Rasta man. Now, Everton Blender have a song called Long Hair Harry. Harry, and we don't judge them. We just know them by their acts and by their actions and their words and what they do. So it is we know the devotion, as you have a bachelor's in religion and whatnot. Now, Rastafari is not a religion, it is the showing the truth that 72 nations traveled to Ethiopia and bowed to a man who is the 225th conquering lion of Judah, was crowned by the tribe of Levi. So the Levites were allowed to crown people and do these things because they have been granted the power by the Most High, given by Moses. So we can't take ancient prophecy and the Solomonic lineage and confuse it when the whole world went there and left, but they didn't tell everybody the truth about it. They just kind of swept it under the rug, per se, as we can all see. Now, there's a lot of prophecy and things that have not been fulfilled. And at the end of the day, I see Selassie as a man defending the faith and a defender of Yeshua, who gave us the ultimate sacrifice. No man on earth has done what Yeshua has done. Has proven the evil of man. And the true Rasta, Orthodox, Ethiopian, Tiwahidu Church of the real Christian faith understand that sacrifice. And so did Selassie. And all men of Selassie must walk as Selassie. It's cleanliness is next to godliness. So we see a lot of hypocrisy within men. And that is only because of ignorance and lack of education. So the whole movement that we do and we keep going forward is showing the truth, that we must know the truth before we act. We must seek, therefore we will find. We must sow, therefore we reap. There's no just, well, I assume this and my opinion this and I want this and I like that. No, that's ego. And there's no ego inside of spirituality. And again, Rasta had nothing to do with religion, Yeah. Even though I mentioned Christianity, there's still a way that Yeshua showed us outside of upholding the laws of the Torah, yet still saying, the Most High is greater than what these men are telling you.
Yeah, man. One big thing you were just saying about the law of Moses with Yeshua is that, like he said, he didn't come to abolish it, he came to fulfill it. So bring it all together, bring everybody together. And I mean, we can get into that a lot more, but, I love reasoning on these type of things, But yeah. So big movement, big culture in Trinidad, obviously with reggae music, Rastafari, bringing it all together. So now for yourself personally, coming from Trinidad to Florida, were you already doing music, or did you start doing music before then, or what was the vibe for JudaH?
So at 14 or 15 years old, I started a sound system with a original man called Higher Height Sound System.
Nice.
And it was just for fun.
Yeah, man.
It was house parties, and we didn't like the music that the DJs were playing because we wanted a little more conscious reggae and a little more kind of vibes outside of the soca, dancehall. And from that, turned into a greater sound system that we started in 1999 called Zygon International, that I am one of the owners and founders of Zygon International. That is the champion clashing sound of Trinidad and Tobago, and we still function on the radio in Trinidad and Tobago right now, Slam 105, and we do many different clashing events all over the world, of course. But right now, that's the influence that really got me 20 years of DJing all over the world, to see that I've reached a level where my message, when I'm an MC as well, I've been on stage, as a soca MC, as a Rasta MC, as any kind of hype. I love to get people moving, get that energy there, and send them my energy, therefore they can feel the love and passion we have for the music, and they can enjoy life as much as we do.
Yeah, man, I can definitely relate on that. I'm part of a sound system here called Tribe of Kings. We've been doing big clashes, dub plates. Right before the lockdown, there was a big clash here in San Diego. We actually won, which we weren't expecting, because you know how the bias thing goes. I mean, I love that you're, bringing the full sound system. I'm even more excited to hear more tunes from you now, because you understand, you understand where the culture vibe coming from, and as well as the sound system thing. And that's my big thing, is sound system. And like yourself, when I first got into reggae, I'm a little bit older than you, but when I first got into everything with reggae, my first artist was Luciano, Sizzla, Ross Shiloh, those type of artists, So vibes and vibes, So now with you coming, what made you move from Trinidad to Florida? What was that movement? Was it family, music, just different scenery, go to foreign, experience it? What was the vibe?
Sadly, it was crime that one of my best friends, my close family friend, and who is also in Saigon, was kidnapped for 3 weeks.
Whoa.
And I was supposed to be in that kidnapping, as they used to come to the club that we were DJing at, asking for him and me by name. And we had a lot of protection down there. You know, we had a lot of I won't say hired help, but we had people who loved us and protected us. And after that happened, my father was kind of just over it with the amount of pain that has transpired in the island, because there's an alcohol problem on the island. There's a tobacco problem on the island, and there's a corruption problem on the island due to the government, because of what they do. They know what they do. They create the ghettos, they use the people, and then the people are put into circumstances that then have to come and take from people who have, and the problem is people lose their life in that situation. So I had a couple attempted kidnappings on my life. And my mother and my brother was my father's worry. More so that, not really me, because I've been in, I'll say since 15 years old, I kind of dedicated myself to biblical scripture and following the path of Selassie and all the Rastaman around me. As the elders are talking of Sizzler Kalonji, he's a mentor of mine and a good, when I say a spiritual mentor and friend outside, and brother, you know, outside of this realm.
Yes,
there's a connection of souls that I've discovered through our meetings, and the amount of dub plate we cut from him because we love him.
Yeah, man.
It is beyond, you understand the connection with dub plate when you hear an artist you grew up with, love him, calling your name, and then you get to meet them, and then you get to spend time with them and
enough artists like that, you know, artists like that.
Exactly, enough of them. And you talk about Lucci, you know, Lucci and all these men that have all helped me gain. But Sizzler is somebody that has mentored me in the militancy of Rastafari.
Yes,
it is our military, you know. We have to stand righteous and stand with honor as men against all those who do not know what's transpiring and want to come and tell us what we must do. That's slavery. No man can tell another man what to do. So when those things started transpiring, that's why we had to leave. We were forced out of the country. And I have been back many times since. I have only seen my culture literally trickling away, bit by bit, due to it's a word that I use a lot, and it's true. It's peasantry. It's the peasantry that comes in from other countries to our country and takes from our culture, and they go and take it, but we don't get anything from it, so we lose, and then we get into a depression, and it's trauma, it's psychological trauma. It's not colonial hangover. So I'm not mad, I'm not angry. People don't, I understand, I understand. The issue is that it's time to clean up the country, and when I step foot back in my country, well, then they'll understand, because they need to understand where I am and who I come from and where my bloodline is, because it comes from JudaH as well.
Yeah, man.
From Zero.
Yes, So what are you doing now in Florida since you moved to Trinidad, or from Trinidad to Florida? I mean, you're working on music? Are you working on an album, anything like that?
At this moment, I'm working on an album. I'm working on 2 albums, actually. I'm doing a cover album for all of my favorite reggae songs that helped inspire me.
Nice.
As a man, as a child, growing into a boy, into a man. And then we have to go back a little bit. That when I first came to Tampa,
yeah, man,
I traveled the whole of Florida, did everything in Florida, and I got a job in healthcare.
Okay.
Where I was traveling to 18 different hospitals all over the United States. I did about 500,000 miles in 1 year of just travel in this country and to the Caribbean back and forth. So I've lived in Cali. I lived out in downtown LA for a while. I lived in close to the San Diego side, down Eastvale, Corona side. I spent months in Arizona, months in Louisiana, months in Texas, months across the United States. I've lived in Cayman Islands for some time as well. And all that I continue to see from all the people that I have fallen in love with, and people that have given and shown to me by the Most High, is that we are not different in any way whatsoever, other than our perspectives and our education.
Right.
So all it is that we need to just find that one thing that could bring us together. Music is the only thing that is bringing my message that has been given. I can't say my message, because I'm just a humble servant. It is the message of the Most High that I speak, my voice that has been given to me by Him. So music makes it a lot easier for them to hear me, because for 6 years I have been showing the world what is coming which is where we are now. And I've been preparing my people, and I've been gathering my tribe, which is the tribe of Yahuwah, the Lion Tribe of Judah, as we call it. And it's a global network which we've created, which is pretty, funny enough, in alignment with what you do. With the vegan movement, yet it's healthy living, healthy mind, healthy soul, and healthy speech. And we have to, it's about self-love, and it's all about practicing what the King has taught us. The King of Earth has taught us autonomy, self-reliance, self-love, self-defense, self-everything. Yet we can be interdependent with everybody, but we cannot and should not be codependent. So those are the things that I'm doing, and right now I am getting ready to jump in with my manager, my team in Trinidad, Empress Janelle. She is one of the biggest Rastafari Empress out in Trinidad and Tobago, doing what she's been doing for a long time. And we're bringing spiritual schools to the Caribbean and our country to save our children, because that is our goal. We don't care about anything else other than the children.
Yeah, man.
And that's the fact.
Yeah, man. Well, give thanks for that. That's awesome that you moved from Trinidad and got to be able to experience to like travel the United States and just to see and meet other people. And I mean, a lot of people in the States haven't even done that. So give thanks for that.
Correct.
So
Yes.
with your experience of, sound system culture and everything like that, and being an MC, and what point in time were you like, okay, I'm going to start singing and putting out my own music? Was there one person or one experience or one decision that you had to make, that it was either like go on the road or go ahead and do music or anything like that? Was there one point in time that you were like, okay, I'm going to start working on this album, I'm going to start working on my own music more serious?
Yes, there was, and it was 6 years ago. I was living in Cali, and I had everything that I thought I ever wanted. I had the model girlfriend, 300,000 followers, living in a 7-bedroom, 4,800 square foot home, driving a Benz. And I mean, I'm rolling with friends of mine like Walshy Fire from Major Lazer, who's like, yo, I'm in TTLA, come check me. He's like, all right, cool. And something happened that I couldn't get there to see him. I know that he's somebody that I've grown with, from Black Chinese, and it upset me. It really upset me. And I said, why am I not able to get there? What is stopping me from getting there? And I looked and I said, it's myself. I've put limits upon myself.
Yeah, man.
Because the more that I have meditated, and I went into a very spiritual, dark place to find the darkness within myself a long time ago, which is these years of questioning. I've done all this in my life, 20 years of DJing all over the place, created the greatest sound system out of Trinidad and Tobago with my team. And big up each and everybody in Zygon International, all the family. Without them, we will not be who we are. And I saw that, what am I gonna do now to take it to the next level and take myself to the next level? Therefore, that my children will be able to have a legacy to build upon, just as the Marleys have their father to build upon, and that talent within them to know that your dad could do it, therefore you can do it as well. And my father has been my greatest inspiration in that, because he has always wanted to be on stage and sing, and he's never got that opportunity. He's an amazing, what Americans would call freestylers. In Trinidad we call X-tempo. We pull out a 4-string ukulele or a quattro.
Okay,
freestyle, nice. Cultural music. That's why the calypso kind of freestyle, and that's in my blood. And I said, I found out that there was a lot of fear within me of speaking my truth because of judgment and how people judge me. And I said to myself, Jazz instilled all this knowledge within I, and wisdom and discernment, because that's all I pray for, and protection for the people I love. What am I doing? Wasting my time.
Yeah, man.
So I picked up actually that where it is. There's a little machine drum pad behind there. When my grandfather passed away, left some money for my dad, and he said, as my name given by him, Keegan, he said, I want to give this money to you to help you with your music. What are you going to do? And I bought a full studio setup, and as minuscule and cheap as I could, and I taught myself how to make beats. And I started to teach myself how to make music. I already know how to play guitars. I taught myself how to play guitar. And everything that I've done has been self-teaching, or somebody has come into my life to teach me something, therefore I then expand upon. And that's the music scene. I have to get my voice out. It was a journey. It was a journey within itself to realize that, okay, I can't sing. I can't do this. I can't do that. I was the one telling me I can't because everybody else told me I
Yeah,
can't.
man.
And
And
who
I,
are
and I
they?
like how you were saying, I got to speak my truth. And even though, that's a big phrase that people throw around a lot lately, but I really feel it like, just about
Yes,
anything with Rasta and Christian and anything like that. It's finding, the vibes within yourself, and I think
correct.
also using the money from your family to buy you something like that, I think is awesome too, because then you have the energy from them channeling into even though it's like physical items, it's still there to create a vibe, and just to create that
Agreed.
legacy and keep that vibe going. I mean, I myself, I'm from Oceanside here in San Diego. My mom,
Beautiful.
raised me as a skateboarder, blah blah blah. But my mom got really still into music, rock and roll and stuff. And even though I'm not doing rock and roll, I'm doing reggae. I still feel there's kind of a legacy there within musical vibe that my mom's proud of me to keep doing it and pushing reggae. So, same way I feel that with your family. You got that vibe, you got the drum machine and the computer or whatever to make that music and continue the legacy of Trinidad and your bigger family and on a whole. So that's helpful right there.
See that?
Yeah, man. So now, you're working on the album. Can you tell us a little bit more about the album? I mean, we got the War Calling
Sure.
tune. You got some other tunes that you already got done, or you got things to finish up, or where's the album out right now?
So right now, Jazz finally blessed me with a team that's trustworthy and honorable, and they walk with Rasta as Rasta, and all from different walks and shapes of life. So Mr. Mellow Red, who helped produce this album and compose the music with me, because this song I wrote 3 years ago, when I really saw what the government of this country and China and the rest of them were doing. If you had to block that out, block it out, my bad. But we know what they're censoring here. So I saw what's happening, wrote the music, and I had so many hands attempting to help me with this one song, War Calling. I couldn't get it out properly. And finally, I actually met Mellow Red in a studio session with Peter Tosh's grandson, Dre Tosh. And another legacy, that Jazz bringing these children of these great elders together. And I'm just seeing it all connect in front of me. And then, of course, my producer, JudaH, Giovanni Rims. When I tell you this man is a musical genius, when he can take something and hear it and boom, 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 and he will spend hours and hours just to make sure it is perfect. And those are the type of people that I have been given by the Most High, and I give my best to them. So right now, to my left, actually, I have my little whiteboard with about 15 songs.
Nice.
And 12 or 13 cover songs that I'll be doing and putting that on that album to release that all at the same time, like a double release. And I will be re-recording all of my original songs that I did, because I did everything by myself. I had no help. Nobody really knew how to help, and what I was doing was people were misunderstanding, like, oh, you're saying you're the Lion of Judah, or you're saying you're Jesus, you're saying this. I'm not saying none of that. That's what you're saying. If you listen to what I'm telling you, then you'll really hear my soul. So it's keeping the truth of who I am and who the rest of the world is real for the next 1,000 years. I'm not doing this for people of this earth now. Again, it's for the children. So there's some songs that, that are just my entire travels all over this, and it hasn't been all over the world yet, but so far where
Yeah, man.
It's my experiences with people and the psychology of the human mind, in tune with the spiritual essence of the heart and soul, and finding that balance of alignment within the self to see the evil within yourself, see the love within yourself, see the left and right, the feminine and masculine, the Lucifer and the Yeshua, the morning star, the bright morning star, whatever you want to watch it as, and get full alignment with Jah, the Most High. And that's all the album's about, brother. And it's called Greetings in the Name of the Most High, Jah. That's it.
Nice. Well, you have a release date or any plan for that, right? As of right now?
As of now, in Jah time.
Yeah, man. I know how that goes.
It's supposed to be the end of last year, in all honesty. And I had everything in order, but everybody else had to get themselves in order as well. And they had to get their houses in order. So now that everybody's house is in order, like literally a tornado came last month, a couple weeks ago, and destroyed our studio. A tornado. So that could be one or two things, either the government or the most high. It can't be anything
Yeah,
else.
man.
So you gotta watch it like, okay, what's the purpose of
Yeah,
this?
man.
And it is to get us into a greater space of humility and everybody humble themselves and say, let's just get the work done because there's work to be
I
done.
mean, same thing
Everything
with the
else is a
pandemic,
distraction.
you know, with all the pandemic and the shutdown
Right.
and being a selector. I mean, I'm still working my day job at Trader Joe's, but being a selector, I was out DJing 3-4 nights a week. All of that obviously stopped, and we just been doing streams and trying to
Yes.
figure it out. And even right now, us connecting right here, I probably would have been like a year or two away from this, but because of the pandemic, I had to sit down and be like, okay, what do I want to do? And I've always wanted to make my podcast a visual thing too, a audio live streaming thing. So, you know, I kind of got it together and made it happen. So I know how that goes. Sometimes you're just like, okay, well, now what? Instead of just letting it
Now
all
what?
fall, that's, you know, build it back up and make it stronger, you know?
Exactly. And that's the feminine aspect of men that we have to sometimes sit in silence, meditate and say, okay, Jah, what next? Because I don't know and I'm only a man.
Yeah, man.
You are everything. So that's a great thing that you've done as well, just to mention that, Richard.
Yeah,
So,
man. Give thanks.
thanks.
Well, one thing that you mentioned before we started doing the interview that I wanted to talk a little bit about with your, you know, growing your own food and being more sustainable. Can you kind of let us know what you're doing as far as your garden and how you got into that?
100%. So I grew up on a farm in Trinidad and Tobago in a place called Talparo. From 3 years old to about 6 or 7, spent some years on this farm, 13 acres, and my dad cultivated by himself around 3 acres, and then he got a team to help him with some more. So the problem was the team came in and robbed us of everything. They killed my dogs and all kind of things.
Man.
We left the country.
I would lose my
we
mind.
actually left then. Yeah, bro, we left and we went to America. And my dad started just like, he had to get out. And then we came back to Trinidad when I was 9. So there was a lot of things that transpired with that farming. And again, my father being the greatest influence in my life. He's a man that has never given up. Never given up. 72 going on 73 now. You know, he's just been told he has lung cancer. But at the end of the day, he's not giving up.
Yeah, man.
He's such a warrior, and that's the tribe of Judah in him, you know, because our great ancestor is Robert the Bruce, King of Scotland.
Okay.
So that bloodline comes in from us, and my mother now coming from India. We have the royalty of that light skin green. My green eyes come from India. They don't come from my Caucasian side, you know. So it's very funny how this life works, and the agriculture that we do has been instilled in me because of not food but ganja farming. Ganja made me fall in love with farming more than food farming did, because food farming gets you really aggravated when you don't know what you're doing and you want to do it your way, and then you lose your crop and then you don't have food to eat. Now ganja's a little bit different.
It's a literal weed. So, you can just let the thing go sometimes, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah, man.
It's very self-sustained. You won't get the best, but you'll get something good. So right now in my backyard, I mean it's winter here in Florida, because I'm not going to be sowing some seeds coming new moon, and we grow all our herbs, we grow all our spices, we grow all of our peppers. We grow as much things that we can grow that is sustainable for ourselves, that we know we eat a lot of. Me and my mother, or my mother and I, sorry, are I won't say vegan, because there are times where I will have maybe a cake that will have an egg in it and I didn't know it would be, oh no.
Right.
I don't myself to, but I don't go after those type of things. I really do my best to keep a lifestyle that doesn't harm anybody else and keep that sustainability of resources within our backyard, within the farms that I'm seeking to gain on land. You know, we have friends of ours that have land in Cali, right outside the Humboldt County, and I've spent months out there.
Yeah, man.
I spent months and lived on that farm, and you grow 2,000, 3,000 pounds of herb, and you say, all right, well, this is great, but I can't eat this now. Now I gotta take this and now go and grow my food again, because my family's gonna depend on that. Now they're now in their older age. It's time for me to take care of them now, and the family that I'll be creating with my queen. Whenever Jah set up for me,
yeah, man,
will be sustainable, you know, and you don't have to depend upon society. Is we depend upon ourselves and depend on the most.
Yeah, man. Well, especially right now with the lockdowns and everything going out. I mean, the least amount you can go out, more sustainable, more you can do for yourself is helpful, you know? So I just wanted to touch on that
Yeah,
a little bit. So you got your album coming out. Greetings from the Most High, Jah. You got a couple singles out already. Do you have any videos out or anything like that you got done or working on?
yeah. Yeah, I have some videos. Cayman Neverland is a music video that my first real professional music video. The other videos before that are things that I just did with my brother and friends to get something out there, to test the water, see what we need to do, because we're going to be doing this. And that would be Satan Going Down is one of my first releases, and Strangers in a Strange Land. Those are very heartfelt songs that I'm re-recording with proper help in a band right now.
Yeah, man.
And
Well, you want to let people know where they can find your videos as well as your other social media if they want to check you out?
Yeah, blessings. You can get me on YouTube at youtube.com/Lion of Judah official. Then you have everything on Instagram and Facebook, official Lion of Judah. When you get Twitter and all these things, Lion of Judah love, but we don't really care about Twitter in all honesty.
Right.
We're gonna burn out some of these social media people right now, Richard, because right now they're censored me. For 6 years, I've been censored. So what the world feeling here is what I've been dealing with for 6 years. So I really don't care.
Yeah, man.
Well, I find it's hilarious that they're acting like babies, because we have to know that they are not there for us. We do our own things like this. This is what we need to be doing.
Yeah, man.
And we put it out there. And this is what we do. We don't need to depend on them, and they get all the money when we give the crumbs, So it's not about the money, it's about the works. It's always about the purpose. If the paper is necessary at this moment until that is removed, which is going to be in due time.
That's why I try to do the podcast. Like I was saying, I've been vegan for 21 years, been a reggae DJ for 22 years, and I just wanted to bring everything together. And to me, as a historian type of person, I hope that somebody maybe in even 10 years will go back and check some of the archives of the podcast, and including this one, and go, oh, that's what was happening at that time, And I really like to document and show people like the history and how things happen, you know what I mean? Because there's enough things after the fact that are completely wrong that, people try to tell you, oh, this and that happened, but, this is what's happening right now, and hopefully people in the future will go back and check this out same way,
Yeah, there's his story, and then there's our story.
Yes, I.
And this is our story.
Yes, I. Yes,
so blessings and thank you for doing what you do, brother. Like, thank you. It is a must, and it is a necessity. And if you don't do what you're doing, somebody else may be doing it, and they may be doing it wrong. You're doing it right, and I approve and salute you for that. When I say approve, it's coming from the love of my heart as a man. So bless you.
Yeah, man. Well, give thanks for that, and give thanks for taking the time out. We're definitely gonna play one or a couple of your tracks. Is there any final words you want to say to the people and anybody out there?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you, Dash, for the opportunity to speak to the people.
Sorry, give thanks.
Secondly, give thanks to everybody out there that has supported me in the past and continues to support me and the movement. Because at the end of the day, we have to really look around. We have to see what's going on. We have to open our eyes and do what was told to us from the ancient elders and leaders and prophets of the past. Let thine eye be single. This is nothing demonic. This is nothing scary and esoteric and occult and whatever you want to call it. We need to remove fear from our lives. We need to know that Jah is always there. Jah created the devil. Jah created the serpent. And at the end of the day, they have to answer to us, because we have Jah within us. So if we live with the highest of intentions, cleanest of heart, and the purest of thought, life will be but a walk in the park, yeah? So follow the words of the Most High, trust in Him. Do not trust in your own negative mind and negative self-talk, because it is not you talking, it is other people talking for you. And we must silence our mind to find that truth within ourselves, to know and live and be the Most High here upon earth, because the devil is not welcome here anymore. See that?
Yes, I. Give thanks, brother. Respect.
Respect.
You are in tune to Dash of Fire podcast, reggae and vegan lifestyle scene.